Hello, my name is David Raven. I'm the co-chair of the Golden Apple Committee. I want to thank everybody for coming. We have a really great turnout today, and I'm glad it turned out that way. We had a lot of votes this year. This is my first year doing it, but it was really a lot of fun, and I want to thank everybody who voted for the winner, John Rubadeau, and I really had a great time meeting him and working with him. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Afterwards, there's a reception immediately following in the Michigan room, and everybody here is invited to attend. There's going to be food and drinks and all that kind of thing. The first speaker tonight is going to be Ralph Williams, and he is also a Golden Apple winner from 1992, and he's also a distinguished professor here at the University of Michigan. So, first of all, I'd like to give a round of applause for Ralph Williams.
Thanks so much, David. Thank you. The Golden Apple Award. The Golden Apple Award attempts, I think, to note a quality of togetherness, finally, of connecting over the generations. An ancient dramatist, it was Terence, I think, had a phrase, like relay runners, we pass on the torch of life. This is true not only in a biological sense, in which a man and a woman join, and out of the very stuff of who they are, pass on this marvelous project called life. It's true in a cultural sense as well, you know. In the way in which we, of later years, you see my gray hair, out of the very stuff of who we are, out of our lives, pass on, offer, really, support, insights, and the examples of our pleasures and pains, in which we pass on for our students consideration and judgment, or perhaps wisdom, and our certain follies. The Golden Apple Award is a way of noting and saying thanks for what the university does at its best. Offer to its students conversation with those at later stages of life who will reflect on the past and imagine with you a future. One of my own favorite sayings to myself, we can't live what we can't imagine. And imagination is the site of the university. That's it, isn't it? But the Golden Apple Award, which is to note and to ask, is honesty about the past, and open and generous and critical imagination about the future. The Golden Apple Award, then, is now these years a sort of synecdoche, a figure in which one notes a part for a whole. It celebrates in one individual a year the achievement of many. The goal at which a whole faculty and a whole generation should aim. It both exalts an individual, and tonight John Rubadeau, and humbles him or her, knowing that one is a stand-in for an ideal which you have set, for a shared vision, and for a shared attempt. The awards had its mark, not only on the University of Michigan, but on higher education around the country, since it was first conceived and brought into being by that marvelous man of community, Michael Brooks, the Hillel Foundation in cooperation with many. Michael has taught this university, city, and country much about community, as of all of those who have taken part in this and voted over the years, and this is one of his finest achievements. I'd like to speak just for a moment about the history of the ward in my own life since it was mentioned. When I'm introduced these days, whenever I'm giving a lecture, there will be a mention of what they can see or invent about things I've done in the past. And then there will be a pause, and they will say, but the truest mark of that at which he aspires is that he's been given the Golden Apple Award. And I do think that if ever I should be awarded the Nobel, they would say he lectured to us 5 years ago. He's won the Nobel, but the truest sign of his achievement is the getting of the Golden Apple Award. And they know, because it's given by those who have been with him as his students. One other mark of it in my life. When my mom was in her last years, and I would go and visit. I wouldn't know in a certain sense whether Mom were going to be there. Oh, I knew she was still alive, but I didn't know whether I could make contact. And once I went, I couldn't. She was just quiescent. And so I said, Mom, nothing. Mom, nothing. And I finally thought, what would draw a mother out of this deep, deep lethargy? And so I said to her, Mom, they made me an award at the university recently called the Golden Apple Award. And they said such nice things about me. And an eye flickered open. And she said, yes, but did you believe them, Ralph? Mom was still in there. But you know, I have the feeling that even Mother would believe it of John Rubadeau. John and I have shared a department in this university for many years. I remember well the first time John came to my door, the first of many to remark on a student's work. It was so early on in our experience here that we didn't really know one another yet. The conversation went thus. Ralph, I just have to tell you about this student and his work. His name is, well, never mind his name, it doesn't matter. But anyway, his name is Herbert. Anyway, he showed me a draft of the story I'd asked for. Oh, Ralph, you wouldn't believe it. It was sheer shit, Ralph. Just sheer shit. I know you don't talk that way, but you should try it. And besides, that's just what it was. Long sentences, really confusing symbolism. It went on, Ralph, on and on. Oh, Ralph, it was pure shit. I didn't think it was good for anything but the wastebasket. But we worked on it, and Jesus, Ralph, did this guy have spunk and get up and go in it. And he's made it, Ralph. I think it might actually sell when he expands it. He says he's going to do it. Has some pretty kinky sex stuff. There's still a lot of symbolism, but it's deep, Ralph, it's deep. And I finally got him to write a short sentence. He begins the story with one, Ralph. Just listen to this. Here it is. Call me Ishmael. What do you think of it, Ralph? You think it'll sell pretty good, huh? And since that day in 18 whatever that we had this conversation, he's come to me time and time again with stories of his students. And you know, they're all success stories. His students' success stories. Since Herman Melville, John's had many notable students. It's fair to say that he remembers all. And when you have graduated, and no one at your old residence knows you any longer, when tuition bills no longer come, when the alumni office has lost your address, you know, don't you, that you'll be lodged forever with care in John's memory, and in his home, wherever it is, in a wall of photographs. And you will remember him. Shall he have love too. And we're all here to say that we love you, John, and to say thanks. And why don't we simply greet him audibly and say, thanks, John? 1, 2, 3. Thanks, John!
Come on. And now I'd like to formally present the Golden Apple Award 2005 to John Rubadeau, along with this $1,000 award. On this poster as a memory.
Wait a minute. Make sure. Keep that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Isn't that great? Now, can you hear me? Because, let me see. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because I'm wired. Okay, good. Well, my worst nightmare has finally come true. I get to talk after Ralph Williams. Anyway, now, you probably wonder what these three people are doing on the stage. They have no idea. But every semester, I always appoint a student to keep track of me because I go off on these tangents. And so, these are the three students that are keeping track. This is Luke Meinson. He looks like a Mohawk Indian. Are they Mohawk Indians in the crowd?
Yes.
Thank you. No, I had a dirty joke about a Mohawk Indian and a cowboy in bestiality. And I was going to tell it, but I was afraid of Gary. I walk with Gary every morning. He's a 100% Mohawk Indian, and he gives me all kinds of shit. So I had this great joke, but this is a very politically correct time, so I can't tell it. But anyway, that's Luke Meinson. But I will tell him tomorrow morning. And that's Lauren Anderson, and that's Michael. Now watch this, Schweitzer. He always gets upset because I call him Schweitzer, because it's German. So anyway, I'm going to be going off on tangents, and they're going to try to keep me on track. This is what they do. I actually appoint them to keep track of me, and then I also, all those other students aren't here, I also appoint another student to keep track of them. So we actually have 3 or 4 people keeping track of each other. No one knows what they're doing. So, you know, it's very difficult for me to talk after Ralph because I know better than any other faculty member at the university what a wonderful teacher it is, what a dynamic speaker he is, and what a capacious mind he has. And I've always taught Monday and Wednesday from 11:30 to 1, and Tuesday and Thursday 11:30 to 1, 2:30 to 4 since I got here in 1987. But in 1989, I rearranged my teaching schedule, and I went to his English 401 Bible Literature, which he teaches every Monday, Wednesday, Friday of the winter semester in Ed Auditorium. And that really was the most intellectually edifying experience of my entire life. And so I want to say a couple of words about that. Ralph lectures about the figures that have established the very canon of literature to huge audiences. Okay, and I talk to in a very small room to a close group of friends in an intimate setting. So I'm really not used to talking to large groups. So I'm going to kind of follow a script here. They have a schedule of where I'm supposed to be. But anyway, so you can imagine how nervous I was about talking after Ralph. And so I shared that joyless news with my wife. And that woman is really sharp. Where is she? I can't see her. Oh, there she is. Look, page 1. But anyway, I shared that news with her, and I told her that I felt really ill at ease, as if I were caught between a rock and a hard place, or some part of me was. And this woman, yes, I was referring to that. Or those. But anyway, I told her I felt really ill at ease, and she, like Alexander the Great cutting through the Gordian knot, this woman instantaneously, without a second's thought, came up with a solution. It really, it eased my anxiety, because she said, Johnny, you and Ralph's sitting there with me, we're not talking to me. Hey, Ralph. So, Pat said, you don't have to worry about it. You and Ralph are both great teachers. And you just have different styles. Ralph's an intellect, and you're a bullshitter. Now, the last 3 weeks have been really a Pavlovian experience for me. I don't mean I've been hearing bells or seeing dogs salvage. What I mean is that the stimulus is me, or is I, use the subject. Thanks. Okay, so the stimulus is me, and the responses are always invariable. Congratulations on winning the golden apple. That's the first one. And the second one is, hey, wait a minute. You don't lecture. What are you going to talk about? So that caused me some problems. So after the 80th person had made that observation, I decided that I'd better think about what I should talk about. Should I speak from a script, or should I speak extemporaneously? So I'm very wishy-washy by nature, so I try to do both, and so we'll see what happens. So I talked about that already. That's page 2. They're there. Okay. Now this is very important. They have a rough outline. We've got 21 topics to cover. They have a rough outline of what we're going to talk about tonight. One thing is that they keep me from going off on tangents. So I can guarantee you tonight that you will not hear me go off on a tangent about the Washington Post decision in late March of this year, 3 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, to use as a euphemism for the F word, which of course is a stupid euphemism, and we all know that. The F word, a new euphemism is more readily recognizable for people that live and work in Washington, D.C. Henceforth, and this is true, Sam Gainey. Are you there, Sam? No. Samantha Gainey, she's one of my students, and she works for the Post 5 years now. She sends me interesting things about the English language, because I love, as you all know, interesting things about the English language. And she sent me a note here, which I'm going to read verbatim in a second. But the Washington Post, as of the 22nd of March, has now decided to use as a euphemism for the F word, the Cheney word. It's going to be called the Cheney word. This is true, I'm not kidding. And you may not remember this, so I have to read this. Henceforth, the Post euphemism for the F word is now the Cheney word, an eponymic honor in remembrance of our Vice President's encounter with the Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy on the floor of the Senate. And the Vice President suggested, now you have to pay attention to this, because it's hard to visualize, the Senator performed an erotic act upon himself that even an extraordinarily well-endowed contortionist would have trouble executing. Now, after the Vice President had made this suggestion, and I'm going to read this directly, it's from the New Yorker, and I quote, because see, we're off on a tangent, but this is a really interesting tangent to me because I love language. Quote, New Yorker, I quote from him. Mr. Leahy then suggested that the President of the Senate, i.e. Mr. Cheney, take his gavel and use it to perform an act that, while not technically impossible in anatomical terms, would certainly be considered both unseemly and unhygienic, and which would require an unusual combination of single-minded ambition and physical relaxation. Now, I'm quoting verbatim again, I really am. Mr. Cheney then wasted no time informing Mr. Leahy that is he, Mr. Leahy, should feel free to perform yet another anatomical impossibility, this one involving aviation, a standard sexual act, and a rolling door. If you don't know what that means, I'm not going to tell you. I'm about to begin my speech. I've been teaching for 30 years. I know all about pedagogy, and I know about theory, and I know about practice. I know I'm not supposed to start on a negative note, because it gives everybody in a very sour mood. But less than a half an hour ago, I received a status email. And I'm going to have to read it to you. Keep an eye on the log. This, well, first of all, there's some very bad news. And then there's a PS, which is good news. And then there's another PPS, which I just can't figure out. congratulations on receiving the Golden Apple. Candy and I have planned to be there to join the festivities. However, with all the fuss and foo-for-ah of the last week here in London, we just couldn't make it. First, we have been all in a tizzy here, but with the wedding having been postponed a day. And second, we were so humiliated, and this is very embarrassing, by the Archbishop of Canterbury's insistence that that horrid line from the Anglican Book of Common Prayer be included in the exchange of vows. We acknowledge our, come on, listen to this. We acknowledge our manifold sins and weaknesses, quote unquote. Can you imagine? Is that any way to begin a marriage? Just between you and me, that is a crock of royal horseshit. We wanted to expurgate that comment, but the Archbishop convinced Mom that it had to be in the ceremony. And one does not cross Mom. She has a violent temper, you know. Who knows how she would have reacted had we gone against her royal wishes? Were her heads chopped off? Commanded us to take her corgis on our honeymoon? And dogs, little bastards? Rude. I hate those dogs. I think she's fonder of them than me. I swear, sometimes I think she would prefer that one of her corgis in charge of the throne rather than her own flesh and blood. I think he's being a little bit on the board there. But anyway, surely you understand why we can't be there with you and Pat in Ann Arbor. Any other time we should certainly have been there. Don't be upset. Will and Harry send their love and royal congratulations. With royal regrets, Chuck and Camilla. Chuck, that was nice. It's sad. Okay, but now, there's a happy one here. And you guys are going to be so excited when you hear this. Ralph, are you ready? Are you asleep? All right. Calm down. Listen to this. It's wonderful news. P.S. Mom sends warm wishes, and I can hardly believe this. And it's right here. It's an email. I just got it. And to celebrate the bestowal of the Golden Apple, a knighthood and a peerage. Henceforth, when in England, you may refer to yourself as Sir John, Knight of the Golden Apple. Now this is really tacky now. I can't believe this. He says this. P.P.S. That's the postscript. Sir John. I love that. I like it. It's got a record. Sir John. Sir John, please send ASAP a check for $250 US. The wedding cost Mum a bundle, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer is in a royal snit. Make the check payable to QE2 in care of Buckingham Palace, London, England. Now, I can understand that, but this next part is just really ridiculous. The $250, I can understand this too. The $250 covers shipping, handling, blah, 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 blah. For an additional $50 US, you can order a commemorative 10-piece set of Jinsu knives. The only knives you'll ever need. Embossed and dated with a picture of Cam and me at our nuptials Friday last, which turned out to be Saturday last, damn it. They are made of surgical stainless steel, they never need sharpening, and they are warranted to last a lifetime. And when I become king, if Mum ever does die, they are certainly double the value. Cheerio. Well, sad. Anyway, I gotta go on. Okay, where am I? Not yet. Okay. Oh yes, there we are. Oh, you're right. All right, I'll learn how to find a spare. Every beginning is difficult. I want to begin this lecture as I begin my classes because I want everybody. I beg your pardon? Getting too much to drink. As I begin every class, and I really have 4 mantras, and it's really important, okay? So I write them on the board the first day of class, and then I repeat 3 of them the entire semester long. So some of you know already what I'm going to say. The first thing I write on the board is, the secret of writing is rewriting. Thank you very much. Okay, you all get an A. So we're not going to talk about that tonight. The second, of course, is one of the most important things I talk about all semester, and it's the key to success in life and any endeavor, and I'm going to talk about that too. It begins with quid. Quid pro quo, yeah, right, quid pro quo. We'll talk about that later. Now, the third thing I say, the first day of class, and this is very important because of what we're going to talk about tonight. The first thing I say is my idiolect is at times scatological. Nobody knows what that means, and I don't expect anybody to know what it means, but my idiolect is my own idiosyncratic way of speaking. It's my speech, okay, my pattern of speech. And scatological, it comes from the Greek word scatani and shit. So for instance, scatology is the study of fecal matter or excrement in biology or paleontology or what have you, biology. And in literature, it's the study of dirty or what some people consider dirty or obscene or say filthy literature, which I'm quite fond of. In fact, 2 of my favorite books are Rabelais' Gargantua and Pantagruel, which I'm sure no one's ever even heard of. But you've heard of Ralph? Oh my God, I'm the old man! And also Fielding's Tom Jones. I love both those books. It's what they're dirty. Okay? But anyway, so I tell everybody the first day of class, and this is true, isn't it, Michael?
Yes.
Lauren? Okay. And there's a long story about Lauren fainting, but we're not going to go there because she'll faint. I'm sorry, take it easy. Anyway, so I told her the first day of class that because I don't want anybody to be upset. I even say it 3 times. It'll like scalaggio. Who is it? I recognize that person. So I say it so everybody is relaxed. And I tell these people, look, if you are offended by my language, then drop the class the first day, okay? Because these are in words attributed to Felix Frankfurter, the great Justice of the Supreme Court. Obscenity, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. So what's obscene to you may not be obscene to me, and vice versa. So I want to do the same thing tonight because I don't want everybody to feel ill at ease. I'm not going to be dropping the F-bomb and all that stuff unless it's appropriate. But, fuck you. But anyway, really, if you feel that when you think of dirty words or you're going to be offended, please leave. Because I don't want to offend anyone. I have a good time, okay? And this really works nicely because proper language is an interesting thing. It's a real relative thing. And the idea of relativity relates to the fourth and most important mantra right at the board. And that is a wonderful 2 words that I write every semester. Audience and purpose. Those are the only 2 constraints that any writer ever has to consider when he or she puts pen to paper. Audience and purpose. So my purpose tonight is give an ideal lecture, my ideal last lecture. Of course, because of the way I am, I think that every lecture I give is ideal. But anyway, this is my last lecture. Wouldn't it be ironic if I had a heart attack and died? Oh, you saved by Ralph Williams. God, that would be better than the Golden Apple. I think I'd prefer Nobel. It's $1 million. It's only a cheap $1,000. I got my Nobel. It's $1 million.
You want this one, John?
I do, Ralph. I love Ralph. Oh yes. Oh, sorry. Okay. So anyway, my purpose is, and my audience tonight is not the professoriate, it's not the administration, it's not the staff, it's not the townspeople. My audience is or are my students. It's a collective noun. I can use either one. All right. So it is or are my students. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to read it so nobody gets upset. My audience is or are my students, and I shall employ language suitable and appropriate to that audience. Let me say it again. My audience is or are my students, and I shall employ language suitable and appropriate to that audience. Okay? Anybody got any questions? No. Okay. Because I don't want to answer questions, because one time I was given a speech. I hate giving speeches, okay? But I'm up here because I wanted $1,000 bucks. This is the God's honest truth, okay? I hate giving speeches, and so I was giving a speech to this Royal Blue or Amazing Blue people, you know, the kids that get 4.2 averages, and they want to bring them to Michigan. Why they asked me, I have no idea. But anyway, I said afterwards, I thought it was a horrible speech, but they liked it. But it didn't say anything bad because they were in high school. But anyway, I said, any questions? I was thinking they asked me some really great questions. This kid said, is that your real beard? And I said, no, son, my real beard's in my pocket. What an idiot. So I think it's always nice to begin on a humorous note with a joke, but you know, we do live in politically correct times, okay? And if you make a joke about one thing like Mohawk Indians, then he's got his tomahawk, he's going to come and scalp me, you know, you can't say anything. Are you out there, Gary?
Euro man.
Good luck. But anyway, so I want to just tell a joke before we start, okay? So I saw this friend of mine who's Jewish this weekend. Well, he was Jewish before I saw him. He told me this joke that I don't think it's offend anybody. It's really, of course, it doesn't offend anybody, so therefore it's not very funny, but at least it's a joke. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln was Jewish? Yes, he was shot in the temple. And then, now, okay, quiet. If you don't do anything. Now, this is very important. I've got to read this. I get choked up every time I think about it, so I have to read this verbatim, okay? I've got to read this slowly, too. This next part of my speech, you read very carefully and slowly, lest I get all choked up, become emotionally overwrought, and start babbling incoherently. This is so touching. This is what teaching is all about. You know, people, one of the true joys of teaching at the University of Michigan, one of the finest institutions of higher education in America, is that you have some of the smartest kids in America under your tutelage. They genuinely appreciate and they truly value your contributions to education. I've received over 150 congratulatory emails from all over the world, England, South Africa, Iraq, Germany, Norway, France, etc. I even got a phone call from Ryan, what's Ryan's last name? Ryan Noel this afternoon. You may know Ryan? He works for Pfizer. You went here? Okay, well, never mind. Anyway, students who I have not heard from in years, one way or another, they found out about this happy news and they took the time to let me know what a huge impact I've had in their lives. Such adulation might make a normal human being pompous and arrogant, but I take it all as pride. It's just part of my personality, just part of who I am. To be held in such high esteem, to be practically venerated by, venerated? Sounds like something on a salad. To be venerated by my students is a reward that few teachers ever receive. To know that I have touched my students' lives in such a positive way is far more rewarding than any monetary award that I might ever receive. Bullshit. So I wanted to share some of these emotionally charged and touching emails with you and read a select few that I picked at random. But these few emails show, not tell, they show the sentiment expressed in all of the communications I've received since it was announced that I was this year's recipient of the Golden Apple. Now, these are really touching. So I want to read some. And you know, some of you people are thinking maybe I want to become a teacher someday. Well, these are the rewards. It's unbelievable. Behringer, are you out there? Well, this is Dave Behringer. John, congratulations on being recognized for your achievement as a teacher of English and composition. One of the great benefits of being an English teacher, as you well know, is that when you're honored with a teaching award, you have so many talented students to call on the telephone and ask them to write your speech for you. I know you have been teaching for many years. In your inspiring courses, you have influenced hundreds, if not thousands of students. You must be terribly proud that 3 of them did not become lawyers. And even more importantly, and remarkably, of those who became lawyers, 6 continue to use the English language and even occasionally to speak to you in conversations using English. If, John, you happen to run out of things to say in your speech, please remember what you have always told us. Make the private public, ars longa vita brevis, genius is energy plus will, don't assume, remember the dumb reader, never mindlessly repeat the slogans of others. Good God, did you write that? That was funny, everybody. I just repeated my slogan. See, he's smart though. Some of us in the audience aren't. Never mind to repeat the slogans of others, and especially respect and cherish the English language. It'll help you get into a great law school. Sincerely, David Behringer, JD. So that touched me. Here's Charters. Are you out there? No. Okay, he's not there. Charters, Mike Charters did this one. It's touching. Props to you on the Golden Apple. You rock. You're the man. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I voted for Ralph twice. Kurt Jenkins, you there? Yes. Okay, this is touching. Jenkins wrote me this one. Congrats. There's not a more deserving teacher on campus than yourself. Besides the 14 winners from previous years who are much better teachers, obviously. I could write a bunch of compliments on your teaching ability, personality, etc., but I want to keep from getting big-headed, you pompous asshole. Enjoy the year. You are the captain of the UN ship for 2005-2006. Is the president here? No? Okay, well, I'm the captain of the ship. I want to be an admiral. Oh, this is touching. I have to go a little background. This is an absolute lie. Okay, some of this stuff's lied. I did not. Okay, I became a minister in the, what was that?
Universal Life Church.
I'm not really religious. I don't know what minister I am. Church, but anyway. And I did that because I love that. The woman he married. I'm not very fond of him. But they were both students about it. He said something here which is not true. I did not. Okay, so I did marry him, okay? But I didn't chase people around trying to sell them copies of that book at the wedding. I set up a stand, okay? I didn't chase them around. Anyway, this is touching. I'm reading this, okay? How much time do I have? I gotta hurry. Okay, good. Captain Audience. Dear John, I find it hard to believe it's been more than 3 years since I encountered you in a classroom. I see that the students of the University of Michigan have seen fit to reward your efforts in the form of the coveted Golden Apple. So I write you today to congratulate you. I never would have thought on your salary you'd be able to effectively bribe so many youngsters. Kudos to you on your ingenuity. And of course, congratulations on the award itself. I'm sure you were, at the very least, a viable top 10 of the 20 candidates without any monetary remuneration for the votes of your students. For years now, students have appreciated your openness, your willingness to use the word fuck nearly with a chuckle, and your beard rubs. As an aside, I wonder, You haven't gotten any sexual harassment charges for that, have you? I do give people beard rubs occasionally. Only if you're good. I recall founding my own engineering course. Replete with arrogance over my writing skills, honed, I had thought, by 4 years at the finest universities in the world. You appropriately put me in my place by letting us all know on the first day of class that, in all probability, certainty, that room was full of students who, only under your expert tutelage, would learn a thing or two about grammar. According to the Michigan Daily article about your accolades, which I only read after you called to brag to me about your securing a prestigious teaching award, you've been here for 18 years. That's a lot of young men and women who have benefited from your instruction. I'm sure I speak for at least a good 6 or 7 of those students when I truly, deeply, but half-heartedly thank you for reminding me back then of my paucity and corrected it as only you could. Now here comes the lying part about it, okay? Oh no, this is the next paragraph. This is a wonderful paragraph. I'm just going to mention a book here. It's called The Passion Papers of Fiona Pilgrim. This is one of the novels I love the most. My wife and I both read that book. It's a marvelous read. And I'm serious. Okay. Now, in honor of this exciting honor bestowed upon you, I'm going to reread your novel, The Passion Papers of Fiona Pilgrim, an epistolary novel of love and lust. Be sure to mention this lengthy, grammatically flawless piece of work in your speech on April 11th, just as you did to all of the other guests at my wedding this past summer. I set up a tiny stand, okay? It was very unobtrusive. He's pissed because his mother tripped over it. I don't know. Yeah, just you did all you did wrong. However, I should like to suggest that conscious reactions to that connubial event, he doesn't even know what connubial event, I bet you got that on the thesaurus, right? Connubial, what does it mean? Don't have to get feisty about it. I'm just trying to draw you into the conversation. So, audience, interaction with the guest speaker. Now, what was it? No, not there. I'm gonna hurry. I have to hurry. Oh yeah. See, this is what happens. By the way, I noticed the other day while going through Ann Arbor, an unkempt man reading a book, the cover of which had as its centerpiece a large picture of a bearded man in women's clothing. Well, I did dress up, okay? And I was a transvestite. There's nothing wrong with transvestites, okay? It's fine, because we're politically correct here, but I was dressed as transvestite. Big deal. I thought, since you had dressed and dragged for the cover of your own novel, that perhaps this was the first reader of Passion Papers who was not a former student you badgered, beleaguered, and bullied into buying the book. Nice alliteration. Where'd you learn that? What? I'm sorry to report that the journal in question is actually a risque adult quarterly entitled Bearded Bitches. I fear that I've drifted into aimless rambling with this letter, and I should like to close by again offering my congratulations. Do not take such a considerable achievement lightly, John. It shows that you have remarkable talents for kissing your students' asses, for inflating their grades, and for entertaining them with holiday lights and dreidels in your beard. Skills that few teachers in Michigan claim. You're truly one of a kind. Your 6th or 7th dearest friend, Evan Hansen. I'm treasuring that. By the way, speaking of, Dave, are you here with the golden apples that you gave me? Dave, are you there?
Yep.
Well, Dave gave me some. I walk with Dave too in the mornings. We walk our dogs. And Dave gave me this nice little tiny golden apples, and we were putting them in my beard tonight because I was going to look really nice. It's understated, and but they look like little Christmas tree balls, so we had to take them out. I was very depressed. I wasn't going to give a speech, but $1,000 is $1,000. This one is from. This is touching. Right? I don't know about you. Why did you give this speech? Josh, are you out there?
Yeah.
Wickstan, are you there? Okay, it's Dear John. This is short one. Dear John, congratulations on winning the Golden Apple. I voted for Williams, but I guess that you cannot win it twice, eh? Thanks. Now, here's one from the last one I'll read. It's from Phil Burns in London, England. I know he's not here. Are you, Burns? No, he was really touched by that. He said, yo, hey, what's happening? Congratulations. I deserve an A. Changed my grade. All right, yeah, right. Yes. Okay, so what am I going to talk about? I had no idea what I was going to talk about because I don't lecture. I just talk to my friends, and then we go on. We talk on tangents about, chaining words and stuff like that. So I had this friend of mine, Lauren Summers, at Harvard, and I wrote Larry a letter. I said, Larry, let me finish. I said, Larry, what do you think I should talk about? What would be a good topic of conversation at an academic lecture? He said, John, why don't you talk about the inherent differences between men and women? And he said, and I said, well, okay, so how do you want me to handle it? Well, men are obviously better writers and smarter than women, and I think it would be a good topic of conversation. And I said, well, Larry, said, well, it's just in the sciences that I noticed. And I said, well, why don't you bring that up at the next meeting of the Harvard faculty? Well, I have called him about 20 times, and for some reason he doesn't return my call. So what to talk about? Let's see here. Now we're on page 7. Damn, this is going to get only 20 pages. Okay, that's that. Did that. Oh yeah. Then I nixed summer suggestion, and I figured, finally, it's supposed to be my last idea lecture. Well, really, I'm serious for a second. Every last day of the semester, I give students quotes that have helped me. They're not supposed to help you necessarily, but they've helped me through life, okay? Because sometimes life is hard, as you'll see. I'm going to go fast, I'm going to cut out a lot of the sad stuff, but life is really hard sometimes. So, and we're all going to experience some of these things. So I try to give my last lecture, and I've done it like 50 or 60 times. So I thought, well, shit, why not give my last lecture? And I was really happy about it. I was like 2 or 3 days, and then David Post, where are you, David?
Hey!
Hey! Anyway, and David Raven called me and said, well, we're really looking forward to your lecture. And I said, oh, I am too, I'm really ready. And they said, yeah, you want you to talk about 45, 50 minutes. I said, what? What are we going to talk about? And so I was really upset then. I was just, everything had been going swimmingly, and then it was horrible. So, no, I'm not bullshitting you. I had 3 epiphanies, okay? The first one was this. I was thinking about Horace. Few people think about Horace, but I was thinking, Ralph, you thought about Horace. Ars Poetica. Ralph, are you snapping back there? Okay. Ars Poetica, 8 BC, and they asked Horace, what is the purpose of literature? And he said, literally at Dulce, to delight, to instruct. I knew by the end of the hour, or 45 minutes, or however long I took, that at the end I could probably instruct 1 or 2 people. The things I say might affect 1 or 2 people, but how am I going to delight anyone? And then I had my second epiphany, all right? Now listen to this. Very few people know this, except for my wife and my children. But from 1966 to 1970, I was the principal violinist of the Boston Pops. And I thought, shit, I could play a number of compositions for you guys and fill up that void. No, I'm serious. And then I could not only, instruct you, but I could also, hi Paul, I could also delight you, okay? So Paul got his haircut today, I recognize him. You look wonderful, Paul. The Rape of the Lock, wonderful Paul. Alexander Pope, I love it. The Rape of the Lock's not dirty. Anyway, does have the word rape in it though. But, so I was really excited about that. But then, damn, furious fortunes, say that right. Furious fortunes, flip the wheel of fate, spun anew, and I come up a loser. And this was what happened. I practiced, like, I practiced 2 hours a day just to keep my fingers, you see what happened, my fingers in good shape. And I was really happy about it. I knew everything would be going along well. So I decided, well, I want to share this with one of my friends, and Jeremy Pace. And so one of my former students, a dear friend. So I called him and said, Jeremy, you want to go for lunch? I'll tell you what I'm thinking about, getting this lecture tonight. So Jeremy came over, and he sat down at the kitchen table, right next to the kitchen window. Now, here's where the hawk comes in. I was telling backstage the story, and we only got as far as the hawk. But anyway, I was cutting this big piece of cheese, right? And this hawk all of a sudden, came out of the sky, came right down, this little chipmunk scampering across the lawn. This hawk got in his talons and picked it up, and Jeremy says, John, look out the window! He scared the bejesus out of me. I dropped the knife, cut my hand. I was devastated. Now, what the hell am I supposed to do? I can't finger anything like this. I can't obtain it. So I was really upset. Then came my third and final epiphany. I'm getting this award because I'm a great teacher, right? Right. So I can teach someone English. I can teach them how to write. I can teach someone how to play a guitar or a piano. Or Doug, is that you? It's an old student of mine. He's really old. But anyway, I can teach him good English and teach him how to play the violin. And he could play for you. And that would be, kind of like I don't know what it would be, but it would be neat because you could see what a great teacher I am. But the problem is, Jeremy, first of all, he's tone deaf. The kid can't read a word of music, and then he suffers from terrible stage fright. But I work with this kid, okay? And I want to show you, this is what a great teacher can do in 3 weeks. First, I want to explain my teaching schedule, because it didn't go as well as I thought because of his problems. But, well, he's a nice kid, okay? He's a great kid. I'm serious. He's a great kid. The first week, I did an hour a day, and we made some progress. The second week, I did 2 hours a day, and we made more progress, but it wasn't yet enough. So the last week, we did 4 hours a day, and then Saturday and Sunday, 2 days ago, I worked for him 8 hours a day, and I think he's done a real good job. So, Jeremy, can you come out, please? Jeremy. Excuse me. No. Don't let me down. Jeremy. Jeremy Pace is one of my best students. I love the kid. He's a great guy. First of all, he's going to play for you. Now, I have to remember, this is 1 week of lessons with the master teacher. He's going to play. What are you going to play? What?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Okay, this is going to be beautiful. I'll try to remember and touch it. Don't touch it. Saturday and Sunday, 8 hours. Now he's going to play a wonderful selection. He's going to he's going to play 2 Irish tunes for us. Okay. Now I say why Irish because I'm 100% Irish. Okay, except for the names and some Frenchman crept in there, but metaphorically. But anyway, no, stop it. Now this is serious, okay? Because this kid really worked hard. He's going to play a wonderful, slow, melancholy Irish air, because I'm Irish. And then he's going to play a tune that I just composed last week called Lost Time. And that's a real happy, joyful Irish reel. The reason I'm having to do this is because this is a musical segue into my... Is that girl sleeping back there? Hey! Wake up! This is a musical segue into my story because I'm really going to start my lecture after this is over. But because it's about, see, life is all about sorrow, the beautiful Irish air, and then about joy, the real, see? And that's what my lecture really is about tonight, joy and sorrow. So this is Jeremy Pace, and he's going to try to play 2 Irish songs. But of course, after, you realize I work with the kid. Play! chocolate pops. I didn't cut my...
What? What are you talking about?
So just kidding. And his name is not Jeremy Pace, his name is Jeremy Kittle, and he's the U.S. National Scottish Fiddling Champion. And he is my student, was my student, and he is my friend. And the last time, because everybody knows what a tight ass I am, the last time I heard him play, it cost me $60 at the Ark, and you guys got here for free. So yeah.
April 22nd, Friday night at the Ark at 8 p.m.
Is it one concert? Are you doing jazz or what?
Yeah, it's actually going to be great. We've got both my bands playing, one on each half. The first one is a lot of original fiddle music, and the second half, is a lot of jazz and improvisation.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, we have to hurry. And hurry up. Okay, great. Here we go. So now I'm going to get serious just for a moment, and then I'll try to rush through this if I can. To understand my life, you have to understand that past is prologue. I am what I am today because what I was yesterday, as is everybody. So I grew up as an Irish Catholic in a Manichaean home where everything was dualistic. There was good and evil, there was reward and punishment, there was heaven and hell, and there was curses and blessings. And I'm going to shorten this. I had about 10 pages and tell you about how difficult it was growing up in that home, and then how sustaining it was and what relief it was to be a believer in the Catholic Church, and how the providence of God, and you pray, and God can help you, and everything went well until I was 21. And I'm going to cut all this stuff because it's just too long. We got to get out of here because I want to have something to eat. But anyway, basically, my life, as I look back on it, there's three parts to it. From the time I was a baby till I was 21, I was a really strong Catholic, and I had faith, and I believed in a God in the affairs of man. And when I was 21, or Irish Catholic man in Madison, Wisconsin. And then when I was 21, I got married, and I thought, well, I raised my children the same faith I did. But I believed in providential God. And so what happened was I had a lot of bad things happen to me. My first baby was born, lived 2 days, 5 pounds, 8 ounces, then died. And that was kind of a blow, but it didn't really shake my faith at all. But then my second child was born. A year later, my wife and I and this baby went to Germany, and my second son was born there, and he died. And it was a disease very common called high-level membrane disease. John F. Kennedy's baby, some of you remember, died of the same disease. What happens with the children at that time, when children were in the 8th month, born in the 8th month of pregnancy, their lungs weren't developed, and kids died all the time with this disease. John didn't get a cure for it. But anyway, that's my second son that died after 2 days. And I was a little bit shaken, and I became an agnostic. Lost my faith, but it was really kind of, in retrospect, it's really stupid, because I was so pissed off at God for losing these 2 children that I said, well, I'm going to doubt your existence. Of course, by doubting his existence and trying to get even with him, that means he has to exist. I know that now. But anyway, so then when I was 30, I didn't think anything could get worse. My wife had a brain tumor and committed suicide, and so then I really became an atheist. But again, it was an emotional atheism. It was just, I'm going to get mad at you, God, so you don't exist. But, and I was that way from the time I was 30 until I was 45, but I was always searching for something until I was 45. I was always searching something, but I was uncomfortable because everything was based on my emotions. And I have this whole thing. I was going to give you a really great talk, but it's just gone too far. But I'd much rather hear Jeremy and Ralph than me. But anyway, when I was 45, I came across a book called The Golden Bough by Sir James J.D. Fraser, and it changed my whole life. It gave me an intellectual background for my beliefs, but they're my beliefs and not your beliefs, so And I had all this stuff in here, but I'm not going to read any of that stuff. I'm just going to close here because I've been talking too long. So, and then I want to talk about those quotes I gave you. So that is how I established my own creed, which of course I didn't tell you about because we don't have time, which is nobody else's creed, right? You have to find how to deal with your own curses and your own blessings, and you have to find out how to be thankful and enjoy them, your blessings it is. But human nature, of being what it is in life, being, as Chaucer said in 1352, nothing but a thoroughfare full of woe, and we've been the pilgrims passing to and fro. You had better find some way to steel yourself for the future. So if we can look real quickly in that, does everybody have that red sheet? I just want to go through it. I don't have one. Does everybody have that? This is the sheet I hand out to my students the last day of class. And I haven't changed a thing. Just that here's some quotations that have helped me in my life, perhaps one or two may benefit you sometimes. The first one's an obvious one for everybody. You know, if you don't grasp beyond your reach, you're never going to see anything. And this second one is really wonderful because it explains that there's no explanation for anything. Why do little boys pull the wings off of flies? You know? I don't know. Why do they pull animals apart? Why? Look at its code. It's flies and mountain boys. We do the God, they kill us for this sport. No rhyme or reason. Quid pro quo. You can read about that. That's the secret to success in life. You get out of something what you put into it. Okay? Carpe diem, carpe rosum, please dig out the flowers, blah, blah, blah. Ars longa vita brevis. That's a wonderful rationalization for failure as an artist. Because I can guarantee you, people, I'm going to be famous in 100 years. You know what I bet? Anyway. Another wonderful, I can say this as I approach, you know, I'm approaching the great abyss, okay, you know, I'm 65. I'm not going to live to 105 probably. But anyway, if I did not accomplish great things, I died in their pursuit. I tried to accomplish great things in my novels. Now, whether I have or not, we'll have to wait until I'm dead. This is a wonderful one. I'm going fast because I want to get out of here. It is only through indignity that man arises to dignity. You have to push yourself. You don't compromise your values or your morals. But sometimes you say yes sir and no sir because you have to do it. And that's a wonderful rationalization for that too. The next one is a great thing. It's about the same thing as the Browning quote. Things in the saddle ride mankind. Isn't that great? Emerson, 1858. Wow. Oh, this is the best one of all. One of the boss. Boss, you have the little madness boss. Or the Greek is kind of Zachas. Put bells and dreidels in your beard. You know, get up there and make a fool of yourself. Who cares? Have fun. Boss, you have the little madness boss. Act, don't react. If you can do that, you're in control of the situation. If someone calls your name, you don't respond. If you're nice to them, you're not reacting. You're not pulling your chain, you're acting. And this is so important. If you have an itch, scratch it, no matter how inaccessible it may first appear to be. I'm talking about itches like, you know, becoming a doctor when you're a lawyer is what my students do. This is the next one. It's a great one. Oh, God, it could be, and no presence subjunctive, my students know that one. In case of doubt or uncertainty. But God, save my soul, I have a soul. Pascal's wagers. Anybody know what that is? Pascal's wagers. That's a great one. Blaise, I saw a hand back there. Blaise Pascal was a great French mathematician and philosopher. And he said one time, you better believe in God. Because if you believe in God, and there is a God, you're saved. That's his wagers. He's about probability. But if you don't believe in God, you know, then you're screwed. So it makes philosophical sense to believe in God. It's Pascal's wager. I could explain more, but it takes too long. Oh, I love this one. Michael, are you out there?
Yeah.
Michael gave it. I didn't give you this. Where's Michael? Where's Michael? Schoenfeld? Yeah, he's not here. Schoenfeld gave me this one. Isn't that beautiful? Heaven for the climate, hell for the company. Yeah, I think it is. T.S. Eliot, reality is too much for humankind to bear. Sometimes it is, people. This is when I believed in God, and it really sustained me in those times of trial. The cross is the gift God gives to his friends. But I became too friendly with him. And the next one is a very difficult philosophical point in German. Leben ist wie eine Hundelehre, quotes from the Schissen. Now that's attributed to, well, stop that, I think. Serious. It's attributed to Kant and Hegel, or some scholars think it's Nietzsche and Schopenhauer. But I have to explain it a little bit. This goes way back in German history, in American history. When you used to have chickens, everybody had chickens, you know, before we became an urban society. And chickens would walk up their roosts and into the little chicken nest, right? But before they would go into their nest, they wouldn't follow their nest, they'd shit on the ladder. Yeah? So this, I'll translate this word for word. Life is like a chicken ladder, short and shitty. Now, I actually think it was Kant and Hegel, but it could have been Nietzsche and Schopenhauer. And if you want to make a mark in the American marketplace, here are 4 quotes that will assure you financial success. I'm quite serious. Doubt everything. Doubt everything. And you'll come up with something new. Build a better mousetrap and we'll lead the path to your door. Think of that. Okay. Here's a great one that happened today. Put a whale on a flat car and half America will come out to see it. You're watching a whale talk. It's true. Think of those things. Think of a hula hoop and the pitsy pet, what's that thing called? Yellow pet. Yugi pet. What is it, Dad? Chia pet. Pet rock. A pet rock. The guy invented a pet rock. What am I idiots we are? Nobody ever went broke underestimating intelligent American people. Talk about our government. And the most important thing of all, I'm trying to understand that which does not offer itself to understanding. This is really true. This is the 6th edition of The Anatomy of Melancholy, 1659, I think. Chance governs our life, not wisdom. Now, I know I've given this many times, so 50, 60 times I've given this to my students, and I'll say, well, John, it's so full of inconsistencies, and you contradict yourself. And of course, you know what I say. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. That's Emerson, self-reliance. And then that one wonderful thing from Whitman. Do I contradict myself? Very well. I contradict myself. By and large, I can take multitudes or something like that. But anyway, I'm almost finished now. Hold on a second. Okay, did that. I'm pretty good. What did I miss? What? 20? What's 20? I just did that. Yes. You missed it. Okay, here's my last thing. There you go. Okay, I close by quoting lines from one of my favorite poems of all times. It's called Ode to a Cell, Farewell to a Cell, by Alcuin. He was the head of Charlemagne's Palace School, Alcuin, and I think it's 1750 to 850, no, not even that long, somewhere around there. And he wrote this beautiful poem called Farewell to a Cell, and I've loved this poem all my life. I've loved this poem, and it talks about living life, carpe diem, carpe diem, or a great poem by Robert Herrick, To the Virgins to Make Much of Time, which really has nothing to do with virginity. It has something to do about living life, as you know. So the beauty of the world passes, and all is swept away. Nothing lasts, nothing remains. Night usurps the day, winter crushes lovely flowers, rough winds stir the sea. Here's my favorite line. The youth who once pursued the stags now leans upon a staff. Isn't that a great image? The youth who once pursued the stags now leans upon a staff. Now, people, I've pursued many metaphorical stags in my life. I've been caught some, I've missed some, I've been gored by some, and I'm leading on this lecture right now, telling you tonight that many things have come and gone in my life have been swept into the impenetrable fog of memory. But, and I assure you, I'll always remember this night and treasure this night and all of you who have honored me so. I hope someday, I hope this doesn't get too sentimental and maudlin, but do you know where maudlin comes from? Does anybody know? Mary Magdalene, why? She cried before the cross of Jesus Christ. Yes, she cried before the cross. And if you go over to England, they say, huh? Did I go off on tangents? Did I go off on tangent? I went off on tangent, never mind. But maudlin is a really interesting word because it was Mary Magdalene who cried. I hope someday, 40 or 50 years hence, as you reflect upon the manner in which you have passed your days, you can honestly say, as I can honestly say, no bullshit, quote, it was a tough journey, and I stumbled and I tripped and I was bruised and battered a long way, but goddamn it, I had a shitload of fun getting here. Bye. Everybody is welcome to attend. I'll be selling copies of the Passion Papers.